Alright, yo, welcome. Today's video is going to be a trade concept. Well, not really trade concept, but a video over my trading indicators. Just some indicators I use on TradingView that help me with my analysis and just makes trading overall a little bit easier. And let's get right into it. Alright, so let's actually make this slideshow. Can I change? Let me change it to a little bit of a darker color because it's bright. Alright. So, my day trading indicators. So the first one I have is the ICT higher time frame candles by Fondi. You guys can check that out. This indicator allows me to see what is happening on the higher time frames without panning around too much. It allows me to be in alignment with the higher time frame narrative. It also allows me to know when there's a specific time frame alignment. So whenever I say time frame alignment, I mean maybe the 15-minute, the 30-minute, and the 1 hour, they all have the same objective, which is to take out at that time the low. And the last thing that this indicator helps me with is the higher time frame candles you decide to keep on or this isn't actually a what it helps me with. It's just a tip. Whatever high time frame candle you decide to have on a specific time frame, like so let's say you're on the 1 minute time frame, right? Let's say you're on the 1 minute time frame. You want to you don't want to have like the minute. You don't want to be on the minute chart and have a higher time frame candle of the monthly time frame. It shouldn't. It's too far apart, if that makes sense. Like it should be relative. So the 1 minute should have beside it the 15-minute or the 30-minute or even the hourly time frame. But the monthly, you're not gonna be able to target monthly objectives with 1 minute structures. That's just not how prices are aligned or time is aligned. So let me show you guys what I mean by the higher time frame candles and what it actually is. So let's go on the 1 minute time frame, and this is essentially what the higher time frame candles allows me to do here. So you see these candles here on the side. These candles here, or the indicator that I'm talking about. So this is the 15-minute candle. This is the 30-minute candle, but this is also the 1 hour candle. And notice this is the 1 minute chart. So all of these candles here on the left side are 1 minute candles. But whoever created this indicator is a goat. They, like I said, this indicator allows me to be in alignment with the higher time frame narrative. Because, whenever you're trading on the 1 minute chart, you tend to, be sucked into the 1 minute narrative. Higher time frame always holds higher power, and that is true throughout. It's relative. So like a 1 minute compared to a 15-minute, the 15-minute structure is always going to determine where the 1 minute is going to go. However, the 4 hour is going to determine where the 15-minute is going to go. You see what I mean? You catch the drift. So it's always relative. So, and note how I don't have the the monthly candle here on the 1 minute time frame. It's relative. Time frame is relative. So you don't want to be too far out. But yeah, like here on the 15-minute time frame, I can see what prices are wanting to do here just based on this candle here. It's super helpful. And it doesn't it actually does show you the open too. So one thing about my trading strategy or style is I always want to be selling above the open, or I always want to be buying above the open. So having these candles beside me, it helps me be in it helps me be in alignment with whatever trade I'm targeting. So this trade right here, for example, on Friday, I was targeting basically this next 15-minute candle right here. So I was anticipating this very next 15-minute candle to be a open, high, low, and a close, because the previous 15-minute candle, this one, I was anticipating for this 15-minute candle's low to be taken, and you can see that right here. So notice this right here, right? That's the 15-minute low. And like I said, it just helps a lot with being in alignment with the higher time frame. So there's that. So that's higher time frame candles by Fondi. The second indicator that I use, and keep in mind, this isn't like moving averages. This isn't like VWAP. You know, this is completely different. These aren't lagging indicators. The indicators that I use are simply to help me find or see ICT concepts a little bit easier. So the second one, ICT Macros by Cognito. Let me show you guys what it actually is. So notice how there's these blue shaded zones here on my chart. These zones are basically the ICT macro timeframes. So it's every 10-minute before a 1 hour closure and every 10-minute after a 1 hour opening. So here, for example, 11:50, there's one macro at 11:50 and it ends at 12:10. You know, ICT speaks about how there's, you know, during this time frame, there's, you know, there usually are moves that occur, and the trade here I take on Monday, or not Monday, but Friday. Look at the time that's in. It's inside the 11:50 to 12:10 macro. You guys can check that out on his YouTube channel. I'm sure he probably explains ICT macros better than I do. This video is simply just over the indicators that I use. So like I said, this indicator, just having it on the chart just helps me visually see the macros. I used to like have, you know, vertical lines going down my chart, but you know, having a indicator that actually shades out the zone or the time window just helps me visually see it a lot easier. All right, and the third indicator that I use is a indicator called New Week Opening Gap, New Day Opening Gap by Crypto Night with 3 ends. And let me show you guys what that indicator is like. So basically, it just highlights the new week opening gap. So this orange shaded zone here is a new week opening gap. So it's from the weekly close to the next weekly open, and that's considered the new week opening gap. And it also, this indicator also allows you to see new day opening gaps. I'll just go over a brief reason why I use new week and new day opening gap. I don't use them necessarily as a fair value gap. I don't treat them as fair value gaps. I simply use them for trade structure. So let's say a new day opening gap aligns with a fair value gap already. That to me just makes that fair value gap specifically I don't know how to word this properly, but a stronger fair value gap, if that makes sense. It just gives me more confluence whenever there's a new day opening gap or new week opening gap that crosses a fair value gap. All right, and let's see what I have here for. So, like I said, it allows me to see the weekly opening. It allows me to see the weekly closing and opening price. It's just a great visual representation. It doesn't make me I'm not required to do much. All I have to do is just look for a orange or blue shaded horizontal zone. Super simple. Yeah, so that's the third indicator. So like I said, you guys can find all of these indicators on TradingView. I don't know what other charting platform there is, the main one that I use is TradingView, and if you're charting with a different platform, then I'm not too sure. But this is strictly only TradingView related. So the fourth indicator that I use is the ICT New York opening price. So I actually don't use this indicator for the New York Open. I have there's a whole completely different thing that I use this for. What I use this indicator for, so this indicator is these vertical lines here. So these vertical lines each occur at the 00 mark, basically the new day time. So there's a vertical line that occurs every 00 time. I guess that's basically 12 a.m. And it helps me separate the days. So like it helps me see a daily candle, if that makes sense. So this I have it on the hourly time frame. And so let's say I'm trying to mark out previous day high or whatever. So these vertical lines helps me assess, okay, so like it separates the days for me. So this I know is Wednesday, and then once I cross this line, it's gonna become Tuesday. It's super helpful like that. If I didn't have these lines here, like I wouldn't know what is the previous day low or high. There's no separation. All it does is just candles. But with the indicator, it helps separate the days, and it's just a great, like, again, all of these indicators are just very, very good visual representations, and it just helps me see things a little bit easier. And yeah, so let's go on to the fifth indicator, market sessions. This is probably one of the more important indicators that I use. This indicator here shows me the Asian price range, the London price range, the New York AM session price range, and New York PM. So I have the Asian session marked in a yellow box, yellow orange hue. So this is the Asian session. So from the start of it, it's at the 20, which is basically it's 20. Shoot, is it 8? Is it 8 p.m.? I think it's 8 p.m. and it ends at 12 a.m. So, like I said, look, it just helps you show, or it helps you see the sessions a little bit clearer, because if you understand that prices is fractal, right? So there's daily sessions, right? There's a weekly candle. Within a daily candle, there are actually sessions, and those sessions, you can use those sessions as a draw of liquidity. So you want to target London highs. Well, if I didn't have this indicator on here, how fast would it be for me to see London highs? Well, I'm gonna have to do all of this work here. So London starts at 2, ends at 5. So yeah, I have to do all of that, and then I have to it's just a lot. So with the indicator, it just, like I said, it's a great visual representation, and it just helps me see things a lot easier. So there's London highs, and yeah. And the last two honorable mentions are, I like using the Dixie chart, even though it's not actually an indicator. It's just I have another chart pulled up. So I have another layout where it's just the dollar, and this just shows me, it just helps me. I don't trade the dollar, but I like using it in confluence with my trades on NQ and ES, because it's more like a, so how ICT says if the dollar is going higher, indices should be going lower. I use it kind of as a gauge. So like if dollar is actually going lower, then any longs that I take on indices will be supported with the idea of the dollar going lower. So any longs on NQ, if I see the dollar is going lower, then it just makes it that trade a even high quality trade. So that's another indicator I use. It's the Dixie chart. You guys can I mean, if you don't use the dollar in a confluence with your analysis, I suggest you do. It prevents a lot of unnecessary trades, because I don't know, if you're trading, if you're trading longs on NQ and the dollar is going higher, you're going to be either stopped out, or it's going to be just low. It's just gonna take a long time to hit that TP. Tends to be high risk. I forgot what the term that he uses. High resistance liquidity run. It'll be, high resistance. And the second honorable mention is SMT charts. This is probably, I use this all the time. I love looking at SMT because SMT basically indicates that there is a cracking correlation between the markets, so there's manipulation. It's a great way to visually see manipulation occurring in the markets. I have my SMT charts on the 5-minute time frame because I am an intraday scalper, and there's really no need for me to have the weekly SMTs, because I'm not trading a weekly model. I'm trading maybe a 30-minute, 15-minute, an hourly model. So yeah, I prefer keeping my SMT charts on the 5-minute time frame, even the 1 minute too. And yeah, I think that's gonna wrap up for my trading indicators again, or day trading indicators video. I'm gonna go over it again. So there's ICT higher time frame candles by Fondi. There's ICT macros by Cognito. New week opening gap and new day opening gap by Kryptonite. ICT New York opening, or just ICT New York open. Market sessions by Leviathan. So let me just mark that out. So that one's by Leviathan, and the honorable mentions are actually just separate charting platforms, or not platforms, but separate charting layouts. And I do believe that's gonna wrap up for the video today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys later on the next one. Peace out. Bye.